I'm Brian Sargent, staff reporter for the Oklahoman and Oklahoma Centennial beat writer. Today I'm joined by Allan Smith, chairman of projects and events for the Centennial Commission, Jeanie McCain Edney, deputy director of the Centennial Commission, and Blake Wade, executive director of the Oklahoma Centennial Commission. I'll start with you, Allan. This Friday, the last big Centennial event is going to be coming up. It's going to be the Centennial Spectacular. I just was hoping you could tell me of what people can expect to see and what things are going to be there.
Well, I think we'll all of us sitting here could tell you that we're excited about it. We came up with the name Spectacular 4 years ago as we planned it. We were kind of betting on the come, not to know for sure who we'd be getting to be on the program. But after we're able to get the ones that we've been announced that are coming, we feel like it's not only spectacular, it's a colossal and it's a tremendous and it's all kinds of great names we could apply to it, because it should be a wonderful show, and it's just thrilling to me and all of us to have our Oklahomans wanting to come back for a homecoming to get together to pay a tribute to this great state of its 100th birthday on November 16th, Friday. Show's at 7 o'clock, and I think most all of our Oklahomans don't miss a chance to tell people when they're out of this state that they're from Oklahoma and proud of it.
And Jeanie, this year communities both large and small have really rallied around the Centennial. Talk about how it's really brought the communities together and the people that live in those towns.
I think one thing that happened, Brian, is that Oklahomans have such pride in their state, but when they saw Oklahoma on the streets of New York in the Macy's Parade, and in Pasadena, Tournament of Roses Parade, that pride just took off. And over 500 communities are participating in the Centennial by funding projects of their own or matching state funds. A town with less than 200 residents has purchased Centennial benches for its residents, all the way up to, of course, Oklahoma City. So people have stepped forward in many, many different ways to be a part of the Centennial, and I think that's a reflection of their love for the state.
Well, good. And Blake, celebrating the Centennial, it just didn't happen this year. It started, in fact, 5 years ago with the Dome dedication in 2002. Kind of quickly walk us through of what's happened since 2002 leading up to where we are today.
Well, Brian, we're so fortunate to have had a kickoff like the Dome dedication. You know, it's been 80 years that our Capitol was finished. And so we feel that was a real kickoff for us. And one, more importantly, is the financial part of that. It got people to see what we possibly could be doing in the future. So number one project for the Oklahoma Centennial started in 2002, as you said. Then, of course, we went on to the Oklahoma History Center grand opening with Lee Allen's fireworks that he talks about so much, that we really have kind of had it as a trademark. And the opening of that, and then of course we had the Attorney General's building that we opened that building, and it just goes on and on. We're working on the National Army Museum of the Southwest down in Lawton area, Standing Bear dedication up in Ponca City. Yesterday Sapulpa did their Buffalo. Tulsa, Oklahoma kicked off the year, November 11th. We couldn't wait till 07, so we did 11 days in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it was so wonderful to see everybody get into the mood and the swing of that. And then, of course, it was carried right through on that last day with a horse heading west to the capital of Oklahoma, and we have not quit yet. I'm telling you, there has been over 500 projects and events around the state, and every day there has been a small community maybe, but it's so important for us to get out there to those smaller communities. And of course ends up in November 16th, Statehood Day, at the Spectacular. But between now and then, we've got so many projects. It's just wonderful to see everybody join together.
Well, good. Allan, many celebrities have not forgotten their Oklahoma roots or where they came from. There were many at the parade, and there'll be many at the Spectacular. I'm sure you didn't have to do very much convincing to get them to come back to their home state.
Well, they all wanted to. Some had to look at their schedules, and they had to delay the answer, but most all of them came. There are a couple of them we wish were coming, but they're in Broadway shows or they're on a new television show would prevent them to come back. But we have some of those people on tape, so it's going to just about take everyone in. I remember in 1982 when we did the 75th anniversary called the Diamond Jubilee Show, we had all of our Oklahomans come back. But today, this state's grown with so many talented people. The numbers of talented people have exploded from 82, from the 75th birthday to this one. So I think they're all very proud, and I think they're going to see on television and live in person a very high-tech show and something that's going to really grab people in a very inspirational way. It's going to be a phenomenal show, and I urge everybody that can to watch it that don't have tickets to go live.
And that's a OETA on Friday, November
16th,
okay.
Which is a state holiday declared by Brad Henry. So we want everybody to celebrate. And as Blake would tell you, that morning at the History Center, Willard Scott will be there and welcoming some of our centenarians, some of our 100-year-old ladies and men there to wish them a happy birthday like they do on today's show. And of course, later that day at the State Fair, we're going to be unveiling a quarter horse statue, which is to pay homage to the Quarter Horse Association and what they've done bringing their shows to Oklahoma. So as Blake said, there's a lot more events coming up between now and the Spectacular. So that's a highlight, and that's the close of it. But then we look to the future and keep growing.
Jeanie, what has the Centennial taught you about how proud Oklahomans are of their home state?
I think it's taught me that it is truly a genuine love and loyalty of their state. When you travel around the state, wherever you are, Oklahomans are really proud to be Oklahomans. And I know many times people talk about that state to the south and how those folks are proud of their state. But I think here it's a modest, genuine pride that Oklahomans feel not only for their own communities, but for the state as a whole. And it's wonderful, I think, that the Centennial has helped to nourish that and to help that to grow and thrive.
And Blake, we'll finish up with you. What do you think will be the Centennial's legacy? And looking back here in a few years, how will this year, 2007, be remembered?
Well, I know it will be one of a very positive thought for our younger generation especially. You know, it's so exciting to see all the young kids that have been at all of our projects and really understand what a Centennial is all about. You know, it's just going to be a wonderful feeling to look around at every community has statues now or has fountains, permanent structures that will always remember the Centennial. And again, I've got to thank the people, the sponsors that all were so generous. The state of Oklahoma, so generous once they saw that we could do these things. Lee Allan Smith and raising funds and our sponsors have just been wonderful. I want to give you another example. On November 15th, we've got a train taking all of our legislators up to Guthrie for that reenactment of the first Congress and that type of thing. And so Guthrie's going to get back in the act too. These are permanent projects that will always be here for every Oklahoman. So if you haven't been to a Centennial event, please join us and get out here and see these wonderful projects.
All right. Well, thank you, Lee Allan and Jeanie and Blake, for your help and coming in today. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.